Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to show you one of the first big projects that we did with our new house, and we really wanted to redo our pantry. And so before we get started, we asked our builder if we could actually not install the wire racks. And there was wire racks in here. They said they had to do it, they had to install it. They either had to do the whole house or none at all. And so we didn't want to do all of our closets all at once, and so we had them install the wire racks. And then we wanted to take those out and we wanted to build something a lot more customized for our stuff because things fall through the wire racks. They're just ugly. And frankly, wasn't really our style and what we really wanted our house to look like. So let's show you what we did. Okay, so this is what it looked like before we got started. This is our before picture with the wire racks in. So for us to get started, we had to rip out all the wire racks, all the hooks that went into the wall for the wire racks. And then we had to patch all those holes up, pulled out all the baseboards along the back of this because we wanted our cabinets to be up against the wall and we didn't want that spacing. So we pulled all of the baseboards out and got right up to the wall and get everything back to drywall, smooth, no holes in the wall. That was our first part that we did. So then we had a plan, Holly had a plan. And so what we had to do is go and get the wood. So we went to our local hardware store. We got 5 sheets, 4x8 sheets, 3/4 inch thick of cabinet grade pine wood. We knew we were going to paint it, so it didn't pay for us to get something fancier. If we were going to stain it or something like that, we would have got something like a birch or something that's a little bit higher end. But because we were going to paint it, pine would work great for this project. Then we had to also get all of these trim pieces. So all of this is trimmed out. This is a 1x2 piece of pine trim. And what makes it really nice is if you have imperfections, like let's just say this room wasn't square, because it wasn't. Then this helps cover up all of those little imperfections and that sort of thing. Plus, with your 3/4 inch thick pine wood, it covers up the ugly like side of that piece of wood. It makes it nice and smooth and gives you a good finish. Then we wanted to measure and make sure we had a spot for everything that we had. Our coffee makers, our mixers, our air fryers, everything we wanted to have kind of a spot for it in these side, basically bookshelf looking racks here. So we did one that's smaller on my right side here, and we did one that's a little bit wider and bigger on the left side. And so we built those separately and then we brought them into here. Before we put the shelves in, we wanted to have a lift like you would in any cabinet. So we got 2x4s and we just basically made small rectangle on each side and a larger rectangle in the back, and we secured them against the wall. So that way we had a nice thing to put our shelving on. So it gave it a lift just like you would in a normal cabinet. So we had to get a couple extra things. So we had to get basically a circular saw. We also got a Craig rip cut that helps you kind of rip long sheets of basically any kind of wood, but 4x8s specifically for us. And then we built each of these corner L-shaped shelves. So we built each of these separately. So there's, we built 3 of them basically on this side, and we built 3 more on this side. We built them separately, and then we installed them in here as one unit. So it was a little bit easier to install. One thing to keep in mind is make sure you can fit it. If you're building everything, you're putting it all against the wall and things like that, make sure you're fitting everything, and so that you don't get into a situation where you can't fit something into the spot it needs to go in your closet. So of course we needed to find studs in the walls, and we had to be very careful because our lovely builder decided to put our water main in our pantry. Not sure why they did that. I guess it was close and convenient. So we had to make sure we didn't hit any water mains or water pipes or electrical. So we used a stud finder. We found every stud that we had or we needed in this back, and because we were going to paint it, we didn't worry about marking up the walls. So we put little pencil lines in it, and then all of the bookshelves that we have are secured to those studs. So each side secured to the studs. You can pretty much climb them. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. And then the same with the back shelves. All of these are into studs on both sides. And then we went through, after we found the studs and we did that, we went through and we made sure to sink the screws just a little bit so we could wood putty over them and we could sand everything to make it look smooth and finished. Because this was raw wood, we got ourselves some Kills gray primer and we primed everything. So we did hang plastic and we dextered our room because we wanted our ceiling to stay white and our doors to stay white and our floor to stay without paint. I sprayed some of it to start with. I got a sprayer and I sprayed some to start with, and it worked okay. But because of the amount of underneath these little shelves here. It was really hard to get a full-size sprayer in there, so I ended up going back through and re-rolling it. And I did this twice. So I went through and I basically painted everything the first time. I went through a second time and put a second coat and rolled everything with a very smooth 6-inch roller, and did a finish coat of that. Did that for everything, the walls, all the lower cabinets, did it for everything. We decided we wanted butcher block countertops in here to offset all of the gray. This actually matches our island for our house. We got this, we paint matched it at a hardware store, and we decided we wanted to get 1.5-inch butcher block countertops. And so we found this at a small little weird shop that had a bunch of butcher block countertops. Look around, you can find deals on it. This was like a $180 piece that we could cut down to size that we wanted. So we cut down both sides, and then we used Wacko, it's called. It's for butcher block, it's food grade, and it's an oil and finish. And so it really brought out the beautiful wood color of this. We put one coat on, we sanded it very, very smooth. We put a second coat on just to give it a second kind of finish to it and make sure it's well protected. Maybe at some point we'll put a third, we don't know yet. But right now we did that. And then we needed to secure it underneath our counter. So we secured it in 2 different spots. We secured it up in the front area, so our counter's nice and the seams are together, and we secured it with an L bracket in the very back corner. So it's completely solid and it's down, it can't be bumped and can't be moved. Okay, this is the finished product. So we're really happy with how it turned out. We wanted shelving up to the ceiling. We wanted, you know, a nice countertop in here. I'm gonna put my Keurig in the corner. So my coffee's in here. I got an outlet right under here so I can get things done. Now really comes the expense. Holly's gonna refill this and organize this with all the things and fancy things. That'll be another video you'll see next time, but she's gonna organize this and get it done correctly. But my part here is complete, and we really like how it turned out. We have bigger spaces for the bigger things like air fryers and things like that here. We have smaller spaces on this side for things like mixers that are tall, but they need more narrow room. So we basically measured for what we wanted, and things we don't need, we'll put way up there. But at the end of the day, we did that. We have enough space for cereal boxes in different spots. And of course, you know, if we want to put some of the things that we want to get off our counters, like our mixers and things like that, we have plenty of space on our butcher block countertops. Okay, so this is the finished product. It cost us approximately $700, all said and done. That's not counting, I bought a new saw and then you bought a Craig rip cut. But the materials alone cost me that. The butcher block countertop is an expense of its own. It's $200 for just that. But wood's expensive. So each piece of 4x8, you know, was about $60 a piece, and that was actually a pretty good price for it at the time. And then all the different things, trim work, screws, paint, primer, all of that took some time. But you can do this project. It seems intimidating at first. It's a big project, kind of. But once you kind of get going and you get one piece, you get excited about what the finished product's going to look like, you can easily accomplish this on your own. So it is a do-it-yourself project. So that's it. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Super thanks, always welcome. And I think I've earned my coffee this time around. So we'll see you next time.